When White Milano opens its doors, several hundred collections go in front of buyers. It's quiet in these aisles, but the stakes are incredibly high. The primary transaction happening here is the order. A buyer looks at the racks and commits to a full production run, purchasing an entire ladder of garments, from the absolute smallest sizes to the absolute largest. But that massive financial commitment is made after handling exactly one physical garment, one specific size. The fundamental unit of the global fashion business rests entirely on that single, isolated point of physical reference. This diagram illustrates the sizing distribution from the Spring-Summer 2026 shows. Out of over 9,000 looks presented, 97.1% were fitted on bodies in roughly a US 0 to 4 range. It is an extremely narrow slice of human geometry. Every physical judgment that actually matters gets locked in on that exact body. Where a shoulder sits, where a waist lands, or how the fabric drapes, all evaluated on a single, highly specific form. It happens this way because this is simply how showrooms operate, how buyers handle product. It is an inherited decision, passed down through decades of trade shows, rather than actively chosen by modern designers. A multi-billion-dollar supply chain answers to a ghost, a historical default that nobody in the room remembers creating, but everyone obeys. Taking that single sample and turning it into a full production run requires translating these initial paper blueprints. But scaling a garment up is not enlarging a photograph. The process is called grading. It redistributes physical decisions across a body changing in complex shape, not just circumference. A grade rule dictates uneven increments. One step up adds 4 centimeters to the chest, while the next adds 5. All of this complex, uneven mathematical redistribution happens entirely after the core design shape has been finalized and locked. Translating a static sample into biological reality is a distortion of the original designer's intent, introducing variables they never evaluated. Because the shape is fixed so early, the failures land exactly where you expect. The middle sizes read correctly, but at the extreme ends of the run, the smallest and largest sizes begin to warp. This chart tracks shipped goods versus returns. Nearly 20% of US online sales will be returned in 2025. Zooming in, wrong size or fit accounts for half of those rejections. Shoppers order multiple sizes, intending to return the misses. The cost is highly physical. Warehouses worldwide are packed with pallets of returned clothing, the direct consequence of these failed geometric experiments. The industry essentially outsources its final fit evaluation to the consumer at home, absorbing massive logistical losses simply because it skips checking its math before production begins. Technical literature will point out that applying better grade rules measurably improves fit, but the true enemy is the default workflow itself, which only evaluates the rest of the run long after the initial shape has been permanently fixed. 3D development offers an alternative path. It allows design teams to evaluate digital sizing variations perfectly before cutting a single piece of fabric. This pulls the moment of knowing much earlier into the timeline. Teams can document fit, proportion, and volume across a full size range, from a 6 to a 24, before any physical sample even exists. By evaluating the whole sequence digitally at the start, designers stop retroactively correcting a warped shape. They actively choose a functional one with complete visibility. Modern professional design work requires consistency and precision, not surprise. This is the core ethos behind Depix design intelligence. Evaluating all permutations at the concept stage is the only reliable way to prevent a flawed assumption from being permanently tooled into reality. Design decisions are cheap as a sketch, brutal once tooled. See every angle before you build.